Hello, you're watching ITU Telecom TV. I'm Martin Warwick, reporting from Cairo and ITU Telecom Africa. And on this occasion, I'm talking with Sanjay Kaul, who is the Vice President of Ericsson's Sub-Saharan Business Unit. Sanjay, welcome. I'd like to begin by asking you, you're responsible for everything sort of south of the Sahara as far as Ericsson is concerned. What are the major issues in that part of the continent?
I think if I have to zero down one, it's fundamentally the competence. I mean, competence is one single issue that is common across all the countries. I mean, when we say Sub-Saharan Africa, you can compare it with the whole world because you have different worlds within Sub-Saharan Africa. If you go down south, it's pretty mature, and then as you enter the center and go towards the west, it's a different world. So, but if I have to pick up one thing, that's competence. That's across the territory, across the region.
And when you say competence there, what do you mean?
Competence in ICT sector in general. I mean, it's very hard when we are rolling out new technologies to find competence locally that can help us to build these networks, run them operationally. So,
one of the themes of the conference and exhibition here is connecting Africa. Things have obviously changed here over the past few years. Do you yourself perceive, do you see it actually happening, this change taking place?
Absolutely. I mean, I have been associated with this continent for about 4 years now, and I have seen a phenomenal growth. I mean, if you just go a decade back, there was nothing. There were a few fixed lines, and today we are close to 300 million lines in this continent, and that's a phenomenal growth. In fact, if you compare region-wise, Africa today stands out. We are number one in terms of year-on-year growth in subscribers. And good news is that it's sustainable, at least for the next 5 to 7 years. So, but still a long way to go. 30% people have today mobile connectivity, so a long way to go still.
In the past, lots of Western companies have come into Africa for a while and then left, provided a little bit of employment and alleviated some poverty. That's what they said they were doing. Now, though, the emphasis is much more on the development of wealth, the development of employment and so on. How is Ericsson helping here, and do you see that that is what is actually happening?
I think 100% we agree with that, and only reason you see success in the continent is that it is the participation by Africans themselves. Because prior to that, it was a lot of donation coming down, donors trying to change the world. It didn't work. It never went in the right direction. So only reason today we are staying on the foot of success and launching in the right direction is because it's a local participation by Africans. And to be frank, I mean, they've got phenomenal dividends for that. I mean, working in this region, I mean, us as Ericsson or any player in the ICT world, it is a bit hard. As I said, competence could be an issue, but you have dividends that you get.
Okay, then, there's willingness, but presumably there's still quite an amount of structural difficulty to get over.
Yes, and also, even though there's been a lot of change from a regulatory standpoint, but I think ministries and government and regulators have to step in and relax the tax burdens on this industry. I think that will really kickstart the mass market evolution into this market.
Africa is so huge, there are so many difficulties in terms of geography and political environments and so on. It's impossible and has proven impossible to wire the continent. So wireless seems to be massively important. Do you now see as a result of that countries and nations leapfrogging in terms of technology generations?
Yes, and I think that is good. I mean, it's no point going back in old technologies and evolving from there. I mean, leapfrogging the technology. Just to give you an example, as Ericsson, when we were rolling our HSP, high-speed networks, Africa was the 11th network we built in the world. So they have succeeded in doing that. And today you have the latest technologies emerging and being commercially launched in Africa already.
What do you make of initiatives like the ITUs, gatherings like this here in Cairo in this instance? They take place all over the continent. Do they help? Do the networking opportunities help?
Organizations like ITU or GSMA, I mean, these are the catalytic factors into the whole schema, and I think it's really interesting to see what dimensions they bring to this growth. And I mean, it's eye-opener, I would say, and we should do more of it than once a year, I would say.
I know, Sanjay, from the way you've been speaking, your body language and so on, you're very passionate about this. And in addition to providing sort of the theoretical underpinning to what's happening here, you've got some practical advice that you've put into a book. So what's all that about?
Yes, as I said, I've been around for about 4 years in Africa, and I must tell you, I've been a more mature person or a professional since the day I have started working here, and I'm very passionate to see what this mobile communication does for the lives of the people, and I think this book was all about researching that, and at a ground level, I think a lot has been said in a periphery, but we tried to go into the core, talk to the people who couldn't afford to have a meal and they were having a mobile phone, and what did it mean for them. So I think needless to say that mobile communication really is an economy stimulus, and if we grow mobile communications, it has a direct impact on economy. And not only that, it improves the lives of people and makes their life more interesting.
Africa is a continent predominantly dominated by GSM. That's great. It's still got an enormous long way to go, and voice is very, very important. But for the future, for entrepreneurs, for small and medium-sized enterprises, and for individuals who are trying to scrape a living and make their lives easier, surely 3G and third generation data applications and services will be even more important.
I mean, mobile data is already happening. I mean, if we take the main hubs of the continent, Egypt and South Africa, operators are launching high-speed networks, and the growth last 2 years in the mobile data has been phenomenal. I mean, what is lacking today is really the set of applications that are relevant for Africans. I mean, here we have to be a little bit pragmatic as an industry. We cannot bring in something that worked in UK or in Sweden to the continent. We have to understand what is needed here and using these technologies, bring that to the customers. So I think that is what needs to be done more. I mean, and our journey has started already.
You said you've been living and working in sub-Saharan Africa for 4 years now, and you really enjoyed it, and it's made a big difference to your life. What is the most significant development that you've seen while you've been here?
I mean, when I started, I mean, it was a nascent state where operators were launching first or second GSM operations. Today in some countries there are 7th and 8th licenses being issued. So that is a clear signal that we're going for mass market. Every soul in the continent should have a mobile phone in its hand. And I think that is a phenomenal change that has occurred in the last 4 years. And it's good for countries, it's good for people, and it's good for economies of this continent.